I'm an avid cyclist and triathlete, and there's nothing I love more than after a long winter is to be able to get out on the open road and go out and get some exercise. Riding a bicycle provides a lot of fun for people, gives you some freedom to travel, and most importantly, it's a good avenue for fitness. What I want to talk to you about today for a little while is how to ride legally, how to ride safely, and how to ride defensively. Let's start with legally. There are laws on the books in New York State governed by the vehicle and traffic law that bicyclists have to follow. A lot of them are similar to what motor vehicles have to follow. First and foremost, I'll talk to you a little bit about helmet laws in the state of New York. Any passenger on a bicycle under the age of 14 has to wear a helmet. If the person is between 1 and 5 years of age, in addition to the helmet, they have to be seated in a specially approved bicycle seat. We've all seen those before that go behind the person riding the bicycle. And something that a lot of people may not know is that if your child is under 1 year of age, it's actually illegal to have them ride on a bicycle. Now, with respect to people who actually ride bicycles, although I believe everybody should wear a helmet, the law only provides that a person between the ages of 1 and 14 is required by law to wear a bicycle helmet. If you send your child out without a helmet on and they get hurt, you can actually get in trouble for that. And not only that, but you're gonna feel awful. Now, in addition to helmets, there are other rules of the road. First and foremost, when you ride your bicycle, you should always ride it on the right-hand side with the flow of traffic as close to the shoulder as possible. If the lane is actually designated as a shoulder, you should be on the right side of that line, traveling in the same direction as vehicle traffic. In addition, under the law, you're required to have a headlamp on the front of your bike if you're operating it between a half an hour before dawn and a half an hour after the sunset during dusk. You must have a headlamp on that's active so people can see you. In addition, a lot of people don't realize that under the law, you're required to give hand signals when you're operating your bicycle. What does that mean? When you're gonna stop, when you're gonna turn, you have to give various hand signals that are required. In addition, you're also required to obey all traffic signals and stop signs. So you come up to a stoplight, you stop. If you come up to a stop sign, you stop as well. Also, when you're turning, if you're going to turn and there's actually a turning lane, you're supposed to get into the lane of traffic behind the vehicle in front of you and wait. And when the light changes, you have your appropriate hand signal and you turn when it's appropriate. Let's talk about now what it means to ride safely. The most important thing about riding safely is to be seen. But also, as I already mentioned, the most important thing is wearing a helmet. Wearing a helmet can literally save your life. I know they look silly sometimes, but this thing could save your life if you go down on a bike. If you're gonna use a headlamp, I recommend you use an LED headlamp because they're super bright. And I like ones that have a strobe function on it. I know it's kind of annoying, but this really is visible to motor vehicles as you're traveling. In addition, I'm also a big proponent of having a rear tail light that also flashes. This way, as cars are coming up behind you, they see the flashing red light and it draws them to your attention. Next, I talked about being seen. What is that? I mean, clearly you want to be visible. There's a lot of distracted drivers out there, so you want to be as bright as possible. Reflective clothing is the best option. I like to wear reflective vests. Obviously, it's a bright yellow. In addition, if it's dusk or dawn, this area, the vest also reflects from the headlights. You can wear pants that have reflective striping on it. Anything you can to make yourself be seen is going to be crucial. One final thing I want to talk about is an ID bracelet. These can be purchased online from multiple vendors. And what's really important about this is you wear it on your wrist and it has a lot of information on here. So if you don't have it on your helmet, this will list how old you are. It has actually room for 2 phone numbers. So my wife and my mother, has my blood type. Again, this is something that can be crucial to an EMT if you're involved in a serious bike accident and you're unconscious. They can get all this information, start providing you aid right away. The most important thing when you drive defensively is to keep your heads up. Okay, I always call that heads up scanning. You always have to be aware of your surroundings. Never look down, always look ahead while you're driving on the road. Pay attention to the road conditions. In the spring, especially this time of year, there's lots of debris left over from the winter. I mean, everything from broken pieces of car and taillights from accidents to lots of gravel and salt that's been pushed over the side by the plows. So you gotta watch out for that. That's the road conditions. Also, when you're riding your bicycle, always try to anticipate what drivers are doing. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but just pay attention to what they're doing. See how they're operating the motor vehicle. This way you can be a little bit more cautious. Never ever assume that a person operating a motor vehicle sees you when you're on your bicycle. Ultimately, we want you to ride safe out there. If anything should happen to you and you are struck by a vehicle, please give me a call at Richmond Vona. I believe that we can help you.